Welcome to the Waffle Shop podcast with me, Taylor James. This is the podcast to get you waffling about your mental health, coping mechanisms, life's minor inconveniences, and the music that soundtracks the journey. So join me each week as I open up shop and have a waffle. Welcome to the Waffle Shop podcast. This is my 10th season, and I thought, what better way to celebrate than with the iconic legend that is Sean Paul. Welcome to the Waffle Shop.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
This is honestly insane. I said it before I hit the record button, but this is blowing my mind a little bit. So if I start to sound like a little schoolgirl, just tell me to shut up.
Well, if you sound like a schoolgirl, I'm going to be scared.
Yeah, a little bit weird. But yeah, promise you, it won't be that kind of conversation. I start each one of my shows with the weekly waffle, which is something that annoys me a little bit. But as you're here, I thought I'm going to keep it positive. I'm going to keep the kind of vibes high this time round. But there's one thing that slightly gets on my nerves, and it was more of a thought, and this is the kind of stuff that keeps me awake at night. Why didn't they just teach us all kind of like sign language as kids? Because then everyone can communicate regardless of like language.
True. Sign language is universal. It's kind of like music.
Yeah. This is what I mean. I know, like, this is the kind of stuff, Sean, that goes through my head when I just literally just as I'm about to go to sleep. And I'm like, surely would that not make it easier for everyone if we all just kind of, well, for one, if we all got on, that'd be nice. But two, if we all had some kind of like universal, like, yes, no, okay, kind of thing.
Yeah. True. I think that maybe it was developed later on, so no one had this bright idea. So, you know what I mean? I think that you've come up with a very ingenious idea, bro.
Thank you. I'm here for business opportunities as well as podcasting. So just give me a shout. So I talk about music a lot on my show. It's my biggest coping mechanism, and your songs and your music have kind of soundtracked quite important parts of my life. And it's just like an instant good mood. Whenever I hear your song, it's like you've got that kind of, well, it's iconic, isn't it? Like your voice. As soon as you know Sean Paul's on a song, you know it's going to be an absolute banger.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you know, for me, music, I've leaned up on music every time in my life that there was a problem. You know, depression. Yeah. I bumped my toe. My girl broke up with me. My father went to prison. A lot of things happened that was like, whoa. And there's a song for all of those instances. Even if you don't know that there's a song now, you might turn on the radio and feel in a mood, and there's a song that speaks to you, and it sounds like it's talking about right now in your life. So, yeah, music is a very therapeutic for me to do and just to listen to the honest truth.
Well, it's true though, isn't it? Because there is like pivotal moments of people's life that, like you said, whether you know it or not, hearing that song can take you right back to that moment, whether it's a holiday, whether it's like a breakup. With your songs, has it ever kind of been a bit of a take me back moment kind of thing where your music has impacted someone? Because I imagine it's like you've got the best job in the world, really, haven't you?
Yeah, for me, it is. You know, to be able to express yourself the way you want, and just tell people how you feel at that moment is an awesome feeling. There's a lot of like instant grat when you do it on stage, but there's a lot of build up before, which is therapeutic. You know, you're in the studio, you're thinking of what the audience or the person listening on the radio in the car is gonna feel like. Also, it takes me back when I hear a rhythm that I really like. It takes me back to, you know, my early going out days, like, you know, house parties as a young teenager. You know, being, you know, asking that girl for a dance for the first time. Those things are very euphoric. Those times were very euphoric for me, and you know, I'm able to use the song to get back there. And when a song doesn't feel like that to me, then I'm like, all right, I don't want to do this. If it doesn't feel like when I first heard, a great Beatles song or a Madonna song or a Bob Marley song.
Yeah.
Those are three different acts, three different types of artists, three different types of music. But they all give me that same bubbly feeling, that same feeling that I'm able to reach to a place where you call of high euphoria, man, and that's important for people. That's important. And I
It's
try to
really
put that back
interesting you
into people.
say that though, because like especially about like the early kind of going out days, because for me that was like songs like Temperature and Get Busy and stuff like that. And even now, when I hear like those opening lines, I'm like, right, where's the dance
Yeah.
floor? Like, like I need to go. Even if I'm like the supermarket or anything, I'm like, right, trolley's out the
Yeah.
way. I'm like dancing.
No. That's what it's for, bro. And a lot of times music is to educate and it's to edify, it's to also entertain.
Yeah,
And so for me, I think I've stayed more on the path where it's entertaining a lot. I do get deep at times and I say
yeah,
some things that are really thoughtful. But also for me, life as a teenager was stressful in terms of the usual stress, trying to keep up with the projects and the homework and
yeah.
social activities that probably weren't, natural to you at first. I wasn't the big pimp at first. High school,
I wasn't the
I
pimp
was a
that I
big
am now.
pimple. Yeah, I wasn't the big pimp. I was the pimple. So, you know, uh, it took for me the expression of those type of lyrics. Kind of, as I said before, got me in a euphoric state. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember stepping up to that girl, looking at her lips. I mean, like, hey, let's dance, let's go out. It gave me those butterflies. So while life was stressful, also with my father going to prison when I was
yeah,
13, and not having a father figure to look up to, it was important for me on the weekend with the socials, with the friends, like, just going out to the movies, just going out to maybe a backyard house party.
yeah.
It made me feel so free. And that's where I come from with my music, especially. I want people to feel that feeling. I want people to feel, forget about your problems for right now, for these few hours, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. We're in a place where, it's like a wonderland. A lot of people might say that's escapism, but it's recharging your batteryism to me. If you walk down one path all your life and you never get a change of scenery, that can be very depressing, bro. And so I leave those problems out the door when I go into the club, or I leave them at the gate when I go into the dance. Then, and uh, loud music, feel it in your chest. You're there with people you like, and it's just a good social activity and atmosphere. So that's where I try to come from with my music, man.
Mate, I think it definitely speaks volumes. I mean, I know for a fact I'm speaking obviously on the other side of the world here, but like guaranteed, like all my friends, but when we've seen you at like gigs or we've seen you like at festivals and stuff, that's the feeling that we have, like for those kind of like that 30 minutes to an hour or however long you're on for. We're not thinking about anything else, no problems, nothing. We're just there taking in the music and having a good time. And I think that's what's really important about music, and especially uplifting kind of upbeat music, because it gives you that kind of like hit, if you like, of like instant kind of, is it like I said earlier, like it's like an
Positive
instant
energy,
good mood. Yeah.
yeah, positive energy, and also it's hope. You know what I mean? It's like I will go to a social event feeling depressed, and by the time I leave there, I have hope for the future. I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be other times like this. Like I've experienced a few minutes here and there in the party, flirting with a girl, dancing with a girl. The music's on, it brings back memories, and then I leave there like, wow, like there is hope. You know what I mean? So even if it's not in a party, even if it's at the gym, you turn on a certain song and it helps to pump you up. Driving in traffic, which I hate. I hate traffic. And so that helps me bide the time. It helps me feel. I keep using the word euphoric, but yeah, it
Yeah.
gives me that that sense of positivity, man, and that hope.
Do you know what? I'm glad you said that, because sometimes when I've like been to the cinema to watch like a Marvel film, and obviously you've watched these heroes, like they've done what they needed to do. Sometimes when I leave those films, I feel like I'm like ready to take on the world. I mean, I have no
Yeah,
superpower whatsoever, but sometimes when I leave those films, I'm like, yeah, like ripping my shirt open, like
yeah,
ready to take
exactly.
on the
It's the same thing. It's the same feeling. I exactly know what you mean. Growing up, and I'm like, Spider-Man, and then my son is like, Spider-Man, and I get back that same feeling, and
Yeah.
you feel like you're about to save the world when you step out. You're about to save that girl from falling off the building. It just gives you that awareness of hope and positivity, man. And
Yeah.
that's something that it helps you to combat depression. Depression is something
Yeah.
that creeps up on you at times, and to have some form of maybe device then that's a good one that helps you to switch your mood, helps you to keep positive, is very important.
So with that, obviously you're quite very open about kind of like how you're feeling and stuff, and obviously you express it like through like your music and stuff. When things get a little bit much for Sean Paul, what do you do? Like, what do you do other than like music to kind of take yourself away? Like, do you relax? Because I mean, I know obviously you've got like your family life, studio, tours. Like, what do you do to kind of unwind?
Exercise is good for me. I used to swim for Jamaica,
Yeah.
and play water polo for Jamaica, so it's like that's a very great release for me. If there's any time I'm very stressed out, if I'm not too tired, because that comes with being tired as well. But if you find that tired feeling and you go work out, you find that you got to boost the energy and positivity at the same time. So working out helps me. Um, you know, it's a controversial thing still in terms of what I'm about to speak about smoking weed. For some people,
Oh, we've all done
not a
it.
good
We've
idea.
all done it.
Some people, it's not a good idea, but for me, it's been a very peaceful, what can you say, introspective time when I
Yeah.
do smoke. It's like meditation for me. Think about the things that I want to accomplish. I think about the things that I can help other people with doing, and it's good in that respect for me. So those two things help a lot. Being around family, especially, and running jokes. Sometimes like the Italians in Jamaica, in New York would say, break each other's balls, in terms of you kind of bounce a joke off of your friend, and they're like, "Yo, that was a low blow, but it was funny," and
Yeah.
it helps you to just keep a morale going. A little bit cynical, but it's pushing fun at the negative things, and that in turn turns it positive. It makes it positive, you know. So those
That's
things,
how I live my life, to be honest. It's just laughing at the bad, and then hopefully it turns out all right.
exactly. Yeah, bro. That's a very great way. And so those things, exercise, smoking for me, and meditating, and just having fun socially, joking around. There's many serious things in life, and when they say as the shit hits the fan, when it's time to be serious, you have to be. But there's
Yeah.
if you're serious the rest of the time, it's gonna be so crazy. Like you need a different change of path, a different scenery. And so those kind of sarcastic jokes or cynical jokes kind of help you to balance it off a little.
No, but it's like an outlet, isn't it? Like it's
Mhm.
kind of like to get it out. I mean, the
Talking
podcast
about
is
the elephant in
exactly.
the room, kind of. Yeah.
But it is. It's like this is just what the podcast is for me. It's an outlet. Like someone like my like bad days and stuff. As soon as the microphone's on, I'm like, I feel like a different person. And like already, I mean, I wasn't in a bad mood, but already, like even just having this conversation, like my mood is instantly like lifted. I kind of want to rewind a little bit. So I mean, you mentioned it a lot, like about like your childhood and stuff. how did the music start? Like how, because I asked this like to quite a lot of like the music guests that I have on, like, how did you know like you had a talent? Like, was there a song that you heard to be like, okay, that's what I want to do? Or was it an act that was like, that you saw that was like, I want to be like them? Like, how did that journey start for you?
It's a lot of different things, but looking at my son now, I see the same inspiration in him. Whether he's gonna do music or not, I have no idea. He's 5 years old. But when he sees something he likes, he takes the phone from me and he's like, and he's just watching, he's glued on TV. Um, you know, uh, when I was a young kid, my mom always sang to me. She sang songs that she loved with bands or acts that she loved. So the Beatles were very important.
Yeah.
Paul Simon and Garfunkel was important.
Amazing. Yeah.
People like Cat Stevens, like a lot of balladeers and songwriters she loved. And she would sing them to me and play records. You know, back in the day, you have one record player. There was no mixer, no YouTube, no Bluetooth kind of thing going on, no streaming. It was, you had to have that record. So we would play that record over and over if we loved it. And that was my first introduction into music. Also, her sister, when I was probably about 9, 10 years old, started a sound system, a discotheque, which she used to play a lot at our house during Easter and Christmas time. We would have paid parties. We had a big front yard, and people would pay to come in and have parties there. So from a young age, my brother and me and my cousin, we would be setting up the speaker boxes early Saturday or Friday, whenever the dance was, and we would set the bar table at where we thought would be a great space. Oh, last time there was too much crowd over there. We put it here this time and free up the crowd and stuff like that. And that helped me to have a kind of idea of what it was to set up like a party for people.
Yeah.
And that helped me also. But I remember being around that age, around 8, 9 years old, or probably younger, when I was at a school barbecue and I lost my parents, and I started to cry, and I was crying like, and I think "Ring My Bell" was playing, and I heard my voice like over a rhythm for the first time. And I had a weird feeling. Like, I was like, well, that's so weird how I sound on it. I guess I was singing in key. And when the song changed.
Hang on a minute, hang on. So you're telling me, this whole journey started by you losing your parents, crying, and it sounded okay next to a song. Wow.
I was like, there's a sound to that. That's weird. And so every now and then I would stop crying and go, that's weird. Where's my mama? And like I would be in the key of the rhythm kind of thing. And so later on, when I was about 14, and we're all at school, and we're every kid in Jamaica, it's a pastime. You beat on the desk, and there's a rhythm, and everybody starts saying, "Yo, Waffle Shop, we got it locked. Hey, Waffle Shop, we got it so hot. Hey, Waffle Shop, we got it you not. Hey, Waffle Shop." We just like played around with lyrics and beat on the desk. And at age 14,
that was a moment for me. Sorry, that was a moment. Thank you.
But yeah, but that feeling came back. I was like, that's just like when I was crying on the track kind of thing. It sounds stupid, but I really identified straight back to those times, to that time. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I should sing or some stuff like that. And again, like as you said before, walking out of a movie, you feel like the Superman, or you feel like Rocky. For me, hearing songs that I really liked, I kind of felt like, yeah, I'm cool like that person. And about age 15, I thought I'd be a producer. I saw a popular producer on TV saying that he now uses computers, and I was enthralled by that. Didn't have the money for a computer, but I thought maybe I could try get a keyboard, which my mom did buy me after a long time. She went to a flea market. There was one Casio keyboard that was cracked, so it was off price. It was different, a little less price.
Yeah.
And she bought it for me, and it had a little drum section and a little, you know, all these different instruments, you know. And so I started to rebuild everybody's rhythms at age 15 that I heard on the radio. And I was like, whoa, I want to be a producer. And then it evolved from there till about age 17, me actually falling in love with writing down rhymes and doing that. So it's a gradual process. It wasn't just one day. It was, you know, that mood that I felt back while singing at school and saying, hey, that's kind of cool. And, you know, mixed with my mom's influence and my father too, who loved different musics, and my aunt who had a sound system. And then I would say about 15 to 17 was when I started to be like, oh, this is for me. And I saw a friend named Jason Williams. Big up to Jason Williams. His name is Don Youth. He was one of the first entertainers from where I'm from, uptown. Yeah. And he was doing dancehall music, and it really, really inspired me. And I started to follow him to different studios, and that's how I got in, you know. Just about that time when there's sometimes doubt that comes into your brain, like maybe I'm not like them, maybe I'm not like a superstar musician type person. You know, Bob Marley to me seemed like an uncle. Like he was so famous, the most famous Jamaican, that when you heard his music, you just felt like so close to him. Yeah. So his kids, one of his sons went to school with my brother, so even closer again. And I remember being at the swim pool, which is 50 meters long, and I was shouting to a friend down the other side of the pool, and his father was down on the other side of the pool, and his father walked up to me and said, "Bro, you got a really strong voice." And that made me feel like, you know, that kind of gave me a bright light, as in, oh, I have a special voice. People like how it sounds, or they can hear me from 50 meters away, way down the it's either I'm going to be like a loudspeaker or I'm going to go into music, which I love. So just gradually, you know, and it didn't happen all at once. By the time I was 17, I was like, oh, going, oh, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to write. I want to try produce. I want to be the artist. So, yeah.
Mate, honestly, I could sit and have this kind of conversation. I love like nitpicking like people's like journeys and stuff, but it just kind of proves that like consistency and following something that like you genuinely love to do. I mean, look where it can lead you.
Yeah, I never thought it would lead me here. I always wanted to make like one or two songs for Jamaica to be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Love that song. You know what I mean? I thought I'd be like just a one, like maybe a one hit wonder. That would have been cool with me. And then when I got a taste of having one song and a song that people appreciated and liked, I was hooked, man. I was like, I got to keep this up. I started getting afraid then. I was like, yeah, I got to do more songs. So it set me on a path to keep doing songs. But as you said, the negativity, you know, all went away when I got little positive affirmations, like the guy at the pool, you know, people hearing me sing at school, banging on the desk. They're like, you sound like Super Cat. I'm like, oh, really? That because I love Super Cat. And you know, even if I tried to sing a Shabarang song, he has a deep voice, they would be like, yo, you sound like Super Cat, man. That's really cool. And it really made me feel good. So all those little positive affirmations that people would give me, it just led me down that path and in that direction. So for anybody who's looking at a career choice, you know, whether it be to be a geological scientist or you know, actually a violinist, whatever makes you feel that way and leads you down that path, follow it, you know, and everything is interconnected. Because when I was a teenager, when I was 14 years old to about, as I said, 17, I wanted to be an Olympic swimmer. And that was my focus. And that was a lot of what gave me, you know, this euphoria that I'm speaking about. My coach went to the Olympics. He came sixth, which was a great accomplishment for him and for Jamaica at the time, in the 200 meters IM. And he was coached by my mom. So my whole focus was that.
Wow.
But then it changed to music. And, you know, why I say it's interconnected, because when I do swim, when I train a lot, I hear music in my head. I hear lyrics, I hear melodies. I sing to myself, whether it be to counteract the random or the boring back and forth in the pool. For a lot of people, it's boring, but for me, I found an outlet, and it was interconnected with music, and that's why sports and music for me is just such a catalyst of good feelings, man. Yeah,
I absolutely love that. Like genuinely, like, so the next time I am going for a swim, I'm going to write a song. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
But yeah, generally, anything that keeps you in that running motion, your blood's flowing, it's going through, new fresh blood, oxygen to your brain. It gives you ideas. And if you are a nuclear scientist, that fresh oxygen will give you, fresh ideas. I'm pretty sure. So sports for me, mixed with music for me, is a permanent drug that I use. It's an upper.
Oh, mate, I completely agree with you. Absolutely love that. To get, well, to be fair, firstly, I'm really glad that your swimming career didn't take off in the nicest way possible. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
but with the music, like you have your own kind of catalogue of, and it's still ongoing. The new single with Sia, Dynamite, is, again, as soon as I heard it, I was like, I know what this is going to be. Like, I know it's going to be a good song. And then it's stuck in my head for days. You have collaborated with some of the biggest and the best. One of my favorites is Rockabye with Anne Marie and Clean Bandit. Like, I've seen Clean Bandit live like numerous times, and every time like I see them, like what they do with music, with like the orchestra and all that kind of stuff, it's really, really special. Like, when it comes to like collaborations and music and stuff like where does the inspiration come from for you? Is it like as soon as you hear like the beat and you're like, okay, I know what I'm going to say, or do you take like a step back, listen to the melodies and stuff, and then go from there?
It's a combination of all those things, especially for me, the beat. When someone plays a beat, it tells me what to say on it. It tells me how to approach it. There's some songs where, I'm begging the girl, like, I have a song that's called "Not Get No Blind." I'm like, "Not get no blind, Sean Paul, I pressure you with one more try." I'm saying to her, I need one more try with you, please, like, give me some love. And there's another song called "Deport Them," when I'm just being like, hey, if you're not up to date, girl, get behind the line. I'm up to date to deport them. So it's just the type of rhythm that spoke to me and said, "Oh, be a little cheeky with this one. Or be more sincere with this one." So that helps a lot. But yeah, you do get inspiration from just lyrics, just thinking of different rhymes. I do also get inspiration from real life, everyday situations. There's a song on this album that's coming up. It's called "Scorcha," and it's a song that I did by myself, and it's called "Good Day." And it's one of them real positive songs. A friend of mine heard it, and he's like, every day he's like, "Yo, bro, I need to hear this song. Like, when is this album coming out?" He comes to check me to listen to it periodically, and he gets his fix. But it's a great song about just like, the verses are talking about the bad things that are happening in society, like in general. And the chorus is just saying it's a good day. It's a contradictory thing. But I had the idea to say, like, when I hear this song, I'm gonna hear all about the bad things, but I'm gonna feel good. The lyrics say, "It's a good day. It's everything around me seems to go my way. Sunshine rays keep falling down on my face." Everything that was written to kind of stop me, I found a way around it, type of thing. And then the verses tell the hard times, but when I
it's that little kick of hope in the choruses.
Yeah.
In the verse, sorry.
Yeah, and that's how you have to be with your own mentals. You have to make sure that you don't step too much into that dark territory. And so while the verses are talking real stuff that's happening, there's hope in the chorus for me. And it's like, yo, you know what? I have to say it's a good day. The sun's shining on my face. I'm above ground. It's something special. So that was just a lyric that I had going through my mind, and then I put it to a melody on the track. So many different ways that you do write and that you do get inspired by. And that's what I love about artwork. It's reflective of life. So it's never just oh, it has to go this way. It's not like physics to me where it's written as a formula. It's something that's a vibe and a mood, and you bring forth the best.
Sometimes like one of those things, like it's something you can't explain, like whether it is a feeling or if it is like a mood and stuff like that. That's what I love about, well, art in general, to be fair, does that, whether it's like in like sound, whether it's like in pictures, like it's that feeling that it kind of gives off that you can't describe, and you can't really replicate either, in a way.
True. It's a special thing. It's a part of it's a part of us being connected to the creator, the creator of all things. So he's given us the ability to create also. No other species has that ability. We are able to create. So it's a part of us being connected to the one true spirit. You know what I mean?
Mate, it's powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. You mentioned there the new album, and obviously with the new album, there is coming a UK tour, which kicks off in April, which I'm very excited about. But there's one thing I need to ask about before we get onto the tour, because I'm from a little town, or a little city, should I say, in England called Coventry. Now,
what?
I believe you have quite strong ties with Coventry.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. My grandmother she's here. She's 97. She's going through the hip problems. We're helping her out. She's being very positive about it. She's from Coventry. She was born in Coventry. Blitzkrieg happened, and they went under the tunnel, their house, and then they had to leave. It was all bombed up by the time she got out the next morning. One of the only houses on the block left. So she went to rugby after that, and grew up in rugby. Started working at 15, being a draft person who used to draw the planes for the war.
Wow.
And she was just the replicating drafts. And she met my grandfather, who was a Chinese Jamaican who went to school in Trinity College in England, and then to study medicine. And when she met him, I guess his stories of how he grew up or whatever, it seemed so crazy to her. She moved to Jamaica and hasn't been back since. So I think late 40s, no, early 50s. Yeah. So right after the war, mid 50s or so, she came to Jamaica. She's been there since. I can remember her going back to England for a few weeks, maybe a few times throughout my life, and she always told me of the stories there in when she was growing up, when she went to Woolworths and found
I miss
a
Woolworths.
Note. Yeah, she found a £5 note on the ground at the bus stop, and she stepped on it so no one would see it. And she let the bus go, and then she picked it up, and she was like, "Yo!" She told her friend, "We're going to Woolworths, bro." She was 5.
Please tell me she bought Pick a Mix. Did she buy Pick a Mix?
She bought all kind of mittens for her mom and the teeth stuff. She got in real trouble though.
Oh.
Yeah, she was a kid.
She should have gone for the Pick a Mix.
Right? She was a kid, so she took like her whole day, went to some other place. I don't know where it was. Maybe London. I'm not too sure, but she came back with a bunch of goodies, and her parents were very upset with her. But she tells me stories like that, which makes me feel closer to it, even though I didn't grow up in England. I never went. I never went to England till I was 28 years old. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, if you're ever back in
I'm now
Coventry,
friends.
mate, come for a
Yeah,
pint.
I now got family, which is my grandma's niece and all her family there. So big up to everyone over there. They're still in rugby, and they say they're coming in. It's actually moved from April to May now, the tour.
The tour.
So yeah, so they say they're gonna come through. So maybe if you're there, I can let you meet my aunt, my grand aunt.
Ah, I'm excited. I haven't seen you since the last time I saw you. You were in Coventry. You performed at the arena, so that's the last time. So I'm very excited now. It's been a while since I've been to a gig, so I'm like raring to get out there.
All right, bro. We're gonna make sure you have a good party time.
Love that. You have been an absolute dream of a guest. So thank you so much for joining me for a waffle.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much for the time. And it was a great podcast, man. Great interview.